good. I'm glad it's very clear. It's been a learning curve because, you know, we have lots of pieces hooked up into this little production right here. So one of the things that is retiring, because, you know, this is all about retiring and all the stuff that's leaving us. And one of the things that I'm not going to end up using today, it was one of the last things that got hacked off, is the bird ballad tin. And if you were with us last weekend, then Christy did a beautiful, beautiful card with it. And then the time before that, I made a card with it. Mine wasn't as beautiful as Christy's. But this is retiring and it's also on sale. So you get this really pretty tin. The lights are kind of shining on it. And it's filled with note cards and envelopes. But the envelopes are really pretty. They're scalloped. So they have a nice scalloped edge. And then the note cards are laser cut like this. You see, so you can do a lot of pretty things with them. So let me show you a couple of different things that we've done with them. And then maybe one of the girls is going to use them today. I don't know. There's still 4 girls coming after me. So this was one that we did back in, I don't know, gosh, maybe we did it last July or August. It's been a long time ago. Hi, Kate. So Kate may have made this at camp because we did it a long time ago, but it's with Perennial Essence. So the stamp set is staying, the note cards are leaving, and then it has the Perennial Essence Designer Series paper, which on one side looks like this. And on the other side, it has flowers. Hi, Heather. But mounted behind it, it kind of mutes the flowers. And then we just added the stamped image to the front. And then a couple of weeks ago, I made this one, and it has the peacock foils behind it, which they're kind of like, it has a print, and I'm going to use those again in a little bit because I'm really sad that they're leaving. It was one of the things I kind of crossed my fingers that might be staying. These are already gone because those were Celebration. But there's, I mean, you could add a stamped flower there. And then they're part of the Bird Ballad series. And so this is what they're really designed to go with. And this, even if you don't have very many stamps, this is literally just paper. So you cannot have any stamps at all, and you can just cut some paper out and add some ribbon. The words are stamped. And then these little embellishments here, they are also going because they're part of that same suite. But the Bird Ballad tin and cards are not only going, but they're on clearance. So always good to get a deal. So I'm going to move those out. I put that chair there to put stuff on, and my cat keeps hopping up there because I think he thinks I put it there for him, which is kind of cute until he starts cleaning himself. Then not so cute. So I'll go ahead and show you a card, and then I'll show you a couple of other things. Let's start with this one. Let's see if I can use my new software. Hi, Melissa. I have to look at my computer that's all the way across the room and see if I can switch it. There we go. So for this one, I am going to use a stamp set and a bundle that are leaving. And the stamp set is called I Love You to Pieces. And it's upside down. There you go. So I have to hold things upside down, I guess. This is opposite from when I'm on YouTube, which YouTube is my jam. And now everything's upside down to me. So it's called Love You to Pieces. It's really good for autism, if you do any autism kind of stuff. But it also has some wedding things. It has Let's Get Together Soon, which it's funny. I haven't used this stamp set for a while. And all of the sentiments in the last couple of months, like they've all taken on new meaning. So Let's Get Together Soon. You could make some really fun cards with this right now. I'm going to use this one that says, Thanks for Keeping Me Together. And then it does have dies that go with it. I think I put the one I'm going to use, yes. So it has actual puzzle pieces. The card I was going to make, I was going to use this little heart. And you can see it cuts the heart into puzzle pieces, literally, and then you put them back together. And that's where I started with that yesterday. I didn't go there. So we're not using that. So I just threw them all back in the box. Hi, Bunky. So I went with just a piece of our Whisper White cardstock. And then I pulled the saying out, and I'm going to stamp it first just with some black. I don't remember what it says, and I don't have the sticker on it, so let me stamp it, and then we'll see what it says. It's a surprise. It says, "Thanks for keeping me together." And then I'm going to take the little puzzle piece before I do anything else. So both the stamps and the dies for this set will be gone. And I don't know, pretty soon. It seems like it's forever, but it's not really that long till the end of May. So if you don't have a big shot, it's okay because we're getting a new die cut system. So hang on, and it's going to be in the catalog. But with all the shipping issues and manufacturing issues right now, it's going to take a little bit longer to get to us, but sometime soon. So you can dream of it. Because I'm dreaming of getting a new one, even though I have this one. So I'm just going to put this in here. It just takes one pass through. And then you can see it pops out the cutest little puzzle piece. So we've got that. I didn't get any scrap paper. So let me get a piece. And then this is Coastal Cabana. It's for my background. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to stamp it, and I'm going to use this piece in a minute, but I'm going to leave it here. And then the set also comes with some teensy tiny little hearts. But I don't want to stamp them on the puzzle piece. I'm going to leave it empty. So I'm just going to do them in black. I'm just going to have them fall all the way down. So it looks like they're spilling down the edges of the card. This set actually makes really cute wedding cards too. So if you're at the stage where you don't go to very many weddings, because, you know, we're all in stages where sometimes it seems like you go to weddings all the time. And then sometimes like you go to a wedding once every 5 years. So if you're at that stage, this is a nice set to have because it will do a wedding card without having to have a wedding set. Hi, Christy. I can't see when everybody hops on. If I happen to look up at my iPad when it moves, I can see it. So now we've just got that kind of filled in. And that's all the stamping we're going to do. Now we just have to put it together. This is a super quick card. So I'm going to go back to the Coastal Cabana. Oops, nope, wrong thing. Sometimes when you're on camera, you don't think. So with this, now I've got that stuck there. So I'm going to be really careful. I'm going to lay this here. Actually, it'll hold it in place. And then I'm going to take this, and I want to put this here. So I'm going to add just a little bit of adhesive. Or you could add it to the puzzle piece if you want. I'm going to pop that back in there. That's why I didn't want any of the hearts on it, because I want it to be obvious that the puzzle piece is there. And then I'm going to take this and I want it to be popped up. But if you only use one level of dimensionals, it's not super poppy. Is that a word? So I'm going to use 2. In the new catalog, we have adhesive like sheets. So those will be better, because then I could have done long ones and not spent all my time doing this. So do one layer and then just go back and right on top do another. And that just gives it a little bit more depth. So then it's going to be really obvious that that's underneath there. I did it with one my first time and I was afraid it wasn't going to be enough, and you can hardly tell that it's popped up. This way you can really tell. Because if you're going to make the effort to have that other piece be there, then you want everybody to know that it's popped up. So then just lay it right back there. Now you can see it's got dimension. But it's kind of just blah. But these are retiring. These are our glimmer and enamel dots. And I meant to look to see if everything was on, what was on sale, because a lot of things are on clearance and a lot of our embellishments are, but I ran out of time. So you can have a look, or maybe if I get time later, I'll post it down underneath. On a couple of the cards, I did post the stuff I was using, but not this one. So I'm going to start down here with the big ones. There's 3 different sizes, or 4 different sizes, and 4 different colors. Oh, come on. I'm stuck. The big ones actually, you can get up with your fingers. So I started with the big ones, and I just pulled one of each color. Just kind of made it look like they were falling down as well. And then go back to the next size. Just kind of spread them apart. You don't want them to all be right next to each other, but it's kind of impossible when there's only 4 colors. That some of them are going to be a little bit closer than others. But it just gives a fun little raindrop effect. A purple one. In fact, if you had some clear ones, you could add them as well. And then just to kind of fill in the holes, kind of space out if you need a couple of other, and then I added just a couple of the small ones to fill in holes as well. And when the embellishments are on sale, then that's upside down to you. I'm so used to YouTube and having to flip it around. So there you go. Super easy. Can you see how sparkly it is? Camera angles. But that's really easy. And when you can get the embellishments ever on clearance, wrong way. Whole new camera, so it's hard for me to learn which direction to go. But when you can get them on clearance, then it looks super fun to put them on there like that. So that's a fun one. And then here's a card that I made a long time ago with this set. Upside down. And this one says "Love You to Pieces." And it uses the puzzle background that comes in it as well. And then that time I did not do it in black. So, and if you're, like I said, the puzzle pieces are the symbol for autism for their fundraisers. So if you ever do anything with autism, this is a great set to have because that is their logo. So there's that one. And then I'll show you a couple of other samples real fast. Move those over there. So one of the other things that I thought about showing you, there were just too many things. I got all the sets out that I thought maybe I might try to mess with. And one was the barn door. Just because I love the interactive cards, they're fun to make. And a lot of times people are afraid of them. And this one's not hard. And it's very farmhouse. So, but I didn't do it. But here's some samples that I've either gotten from friends or I don't, which one are you talking about, Diana? The barn door is retiring and so is the puzzle. Both of these are. So this one, you can see it comes with the little, these up here, and the dies make the little hole here that goes across. It's not hard. You just, so then the sentiment is like behind the barn door. So there's that one. And here's this one. This one was embossed, so it gives that a little bit more. It's hard for me to see, to figure out how to make it move when I can't see what I'm doing. Oh, this one, oh yeah, it does move. I didn't make this one. Let me see. Does it have a name on it? Nope, no name on it. We used to be really good when we swapped with each other about putting our names on it. Not so much anymore. So this one has a little wreath behind its door. And then this one I made. And it has the, I think it's called the country wreath, I think. And I put something behind both doors. So both ways you got it. And the set that is behind it is not retiring. But the paper that I used is. it's this set. I'm pretty sure that set's staying. And then you also can get it and not make it open. This one's just the door. So sad to see that go, because I'll probably never stamp with it again. Some sets I keep, not very many, but that's not probably one that I will. Okay, which one to do next? And also when I do this, for whatever reason, somebody needs to tell Facebook that when you're live, it would be very helpful if they would have the time up in the corner. Let's go back over here. And let's do this one. So let's use our watercolor pencils. And I'm going to use I did get 2 stamp sets on this one. So I have Stitched All Around, which is one of my very favorite sets, because my grandma's favorite song was You Are My Sunshine. And so every time we have a stamp set that has that, it's first on my list. And then Breathtaking Bouquet. And this was in the January to June mini catalog. So it hasn't been out for very long, but sometimes we get them real quick and then they go just as fast. So I'm going to use the dies that came with this as well. And I have made a card with it. As soon as the stamp set came out, I used it with the You Are My Sunshine. And this one was super simple. It's the dies that are designed to go with the set. Literally just stamped it in these colors and then sponged the colors on the back of the die. So super simple. The dies that come with it, they're all stitched. So they're really pretty. I'm going to use the You Are My Sunshine again. So for the background stamp, you can use your background stamps a lot of ways. A lot of times I just leave mine in their case when they don't have to be very precise. But for this one, like if you have the buffalo check, if you're doing something kind of like for a background look, it doesn't have to be precise. For this one, to get the flowers on there, you want them to look nice. So it's best to either have the big block. I prefer to use my Stamparatus, then you don't have to have a block. So you can see I've already put a piece of our scrap paper in here, and then I just take a tiny piece of adhesive, put that there. I'm going to use crumb cake. And because I've already stamped it once, I can kind of see where it's going to hit. So I just want to line that up. Move those out of the way. And then I'm going to use black again. And just ink this up. The nice thing when you're using the Stamparatus, if you miss someplace on these giant stamps, you can go back and hit it again, because you can stamp as many times as you want. So if you want it to be super dark, you can get it a second time, a third time, or a fourth time. And just shut it and then press. Stand up. And just press, especially in the corners and in the middle, and make sure you got everywhere. So the Stamparatus is really designed so you can use, like, make multiple cards as well. So you can, like, if I wanted to make 5 of these, I could just keep going and whip them out. Or you can do kind of stair step stamping. So you can see it's pretty good. The leaves right here, let's just pretend I'm not super happy with them because they're not really dark. So you just put some more ink right there. And just hit that spot again. And then they're darker. Can you see? So it just makes it a lot easier to make sure that you get everything. So pull that out. Done with this. Put that out of the way. And then I have a scrap piece of this. And there You Are My Sunshine stamp. Stamp that. It's going to have kind of a little rustic look with these colors. Grab my watercolor pencils. And I don't have all the colors. I have both of our sets, but not all of the colors from them. So on this one, let's get some sunshine around it. And I press really hard. And I've had my pencils for a long time, and lots of people use them. They're one of the most inexpensive ways to get color And you can take them in the car. You could take them in the plane. Once we're able to travel again, you can take them wherever you want to take them. So that was some yellow. Let's add a little bit of gorgeous grape just for some highlights. So I press really hard because I like to have that color. And then you don't have to watercolor with them, but I like to watercolor. So we'll just add that, and then we'll add a tiny bit of orange, just a tiny, tiny bit, like draw some lines of it. So now we've got that. And then let's do, I'm not going to color this whole thing, and I'm not going to color the whole thing for you. But let's take this flower here and just go where these lines are in this. Just, you can see how hard, like I press super, super hard because you want lots of color, especially on this craft colored cardstock. Let's take a yellow one, kind of go up and around it. The other thing that the watercolor pencils are good for is if you have kids and they want to stamp with you and you don't want them to use some of your more like real things, like your blends or something, then you can let them use your watercolor pencils. Let's go for some razzleberry. I'm going to just trace the edges of this flower. Knocking stuff off my table because I'm pressing so hard. So I'm just kind of outlining the petals with the razzleberry. And sometimes before you're done with these, they can look a hot mess, but that's okay. And then I have my espresso. I'm just going to draw circles in the center part. And then put some orange in the center. And then you can take the blender pen. I'll just use this for scrap. And then you just make sure that it's clean until the last thing I colored was a pink flower. And then you're just going to kind of like pull that color. So you'll do that for the whole thing. And I'm going to show you on another one because I want to show you how to stamp it. But I do need to color this one. So this one, I'm just kind of smudge the color. I don't want the whole thing to have color on it. So just kind of smudge it. And then when you switch colors, you literally just drag it on some scrap paper. Just like that. So let's run our two dies through. So I have them from the dies that go with the stitched all around. I think they're called Stitch So Sweetly. I don't remember. I meant to write all this down, and you know, sometimes the things we intend to do don't really happen. So I'm going to use this little one here, and it cuts that out. And then there's this little banner here. Run those through. And then I have a piece of black cardstock. And usually when we do black cards, then you also can put like a panel of vanilla or white or something on the inside. For this one, I don't have that because I'm not going to finish it off all the way. And then I have this here, and you can see what I've done is I've taken a line of flowers and colored them kind of across. So I have colored them all in, but I haven't blended them all yet because I wanted to see, you can see this one here. I finished blending it, but I'm going to blend some of these. So I need my little scrap piece back over here. I'll do this. The rose. And you want to leave some areas where it has the color of cardstock that you're doing. So not everything has to have color on it. And I've mixed several, like this one has 3 different colors of our reds. Just kind of smear them together. And then when you switch colors, just go over here. These have 2 different colors of greens. So that way when you just kind of smudge them together, it gives them a little bit of depth to them. And I didn't do anywhere close to all of the leaves. This one right here, these flowers I did with a tiny bit of Bermuda Bay and then a lot of the purple. And then these here are yellow and orange in the middle. And then part of the reason I chose the craft colored cardstock was so I could have white flowers. So these are colored with the white watercolor pencil. And it does, when you blend it, it does disappear a little bit. Kind of tones it down. Missed those flowers. I mean leaves. So it looks all really pretty like that. But then what really sets it off is anytime you color on the craft cardstock is if you go back and take your white pencil and just go back and add some highlights. So let's just add some highlights to this and you'll see it really comes to life. So just kind of give it some places where the light might hit, just kind of brighten it up. Kind of these places a little bit where I left the places with no. And you can see it just starts to brighten it up a little bit. And this is kind of a country looking card, so it doesn't have to, like, you don't have to take forever, and it's not precise and every petal's not colored in because it's not that kind of a look. But if you do like to color, you literally could go forever. And you could go back and blend it, and you could get a couple of different more layers of color to kind of just get it. But you can see it starts to really brighten it up. So then let's just stick this all together. This way. Stick this here. I'm going to take the dimensionals. Not all of these things popped out of here. They're just getting popped out. And I'm going to take stick those on there. Does anybody have either of these stamp sets? Put that there. And there you go. So this one here, I took a second longer to color because it was my original. So you could mess a little bit longer than I did on that one with the white. But it's a lot of fun. It's a really fun card to color. And if you haven't colored with your watercolor pencils on craft cardstock, go do it today because it's a lot of fun. And we have a lot of stamp sets that I'll work with. There's a couple that I've already spotted in the new catalog that'll be fun. But this is a really, really pretty stamp set. And you'll be able to use it a lot with this technique. So there's that one. Two more fun things and a die, all this leaving us. Watercolor pencils are staying. But what's not staying are the pigment sprinkles. And I'm really, really sad about that. Although my table won't be because I do tend to make a mess. And I made a huge mess last night. Thanks, Christy. Thanks, Kathy. So I didn't pull out all the things that I've done with the pigment sprinkles, but I love them. The other thing that's leaving that I'm sad about is this, like all of our glimmer paper. Tanya said, I don't know. I don't think any of the colors stayed. Like, I think they're all gone. I won't be surprised if they make appearances in the holiday catalogs, but there's none in the annual catalog. So I wanted to showcase two things. One is the pigment sprinkles, and mine are a hot mess because I use them all the time. So they come like this, and there's so many things that you can do with them. We're going to do two, and then my hands are going to be dirty. I should have done this card last. So I may have to get up and take a break and go wash my hands. But I'm going to do this piece first, and then I'm going to let it dry. So I've got this here. I'm going to add some water here. And then here are some of my pigment sprinkles, and I have just kept them in here like this. I may have to add a couple more because my green was almost gone. And it's kind of hard to tell what colors they are because they don't come out looking. This is why I'm going to be a mess. And then this is just a empty Stella, like it's empty, and I just use it with water. Yeah, Tanya said that the glimmer papers are all gone. So I'm just going to get this wet. I'm going to go over here and grab some of, hopefully, yellow. Nope, that is not yellow. See, that's what I mean. That's green. So that's okay. We'll start with the green. Oh, no, it's yellow. Must have had a bit of green on my brush. No, it's green. The pigment sprinkles are funny like that. So I'm just getting some green, and I'm just brushing it on here. And, you know, because they're leaving, I'm just going to use a lot because I've been careful with them and not used a lot. And there's no reason to be careful with them anymore because they're not going to, I'm not going to use them up. So I'm just adding this green. It's super, super sparkly. And I did find after I did this yesterday that it dried lighter than what it starts out. So we've got some green. Let's go to some of the purple. You think this is the purple? Maybe. Nope, that's the blue. See, it's tricky. We'll do blue. So you just want a bunch of the water and then grab a bunch of this. And then just spread that on there. And you kind of want them to mix a little bit. And that looks super, super dark, but when it dries, it's going to be a whole lot lighter. Because I had to do this like twice yesterday. The first time it practically disappeared. I don't know if my practice thing is still here. Because I thought, oh, this is really pretty. And then it dried. Yeah, this is when I did it the first time yesterday. Which is pretty, but it wasn't strong enough to hold the card effect that I wanted. Because this was really dark when I started. And then it dried and I was like, well, that's just nothing now. The water's pretty. It looks like you're dyeing Easter eggs. So now let's see if I can guess which one the purple is. Maybe this? Nope, that's red. So we'll put the red up here. These are called pigment sprinkles and they are so much fun. You can pour them on your paper and just spray water and it gives a really fun effect. So here's this, which when I did this yesterday, I thought that was dark and that's how it dried. So you can see that I'm being much more liberal with the amount that I put on it. Okay, so I'm going to need some purple. So you literally just knock some into they're just powders. And they do come with a little thing that closes them. I don't close mine because then it gets your fingers dirty when you open it. Here's some purple. There we go. And now some yellow. And I think my yellow was gone too. So I'm going to take, there's two yellows. It comes with the daffodil and the mango. Yesterday I used the daffodil, but the mango is a stronger one. So I'm going to do it. I might need a little bit more of that. The mango looks like macaroni and cheese powder from Kraft. You know, my water's a little bit dirty. That's why I wanted to start with yellow. So it's a little orange because my water's a little green. Okay, so we'll let this dry. I am going to go. Let's see if I can get that to be a little bit more Bermuda. But you will be shocked on how it reminds me of summer and going to get some Hawaiian ice. I wish there was a way we could take a picture. Everybody take a picture of this in your mind. Because when we come back to it later, it's not going to be this bright. And I wanted it, I've done it brighter than what I did yesterday because I want it to be a little bit stronger. So I'm hoping that it dries a little bit stronger. And these are just, if you love the Wink of Stella, don't ever throw away your pen when it's gone because you can use them for paintbrushes and you just save them like that. So I'm going to move that out of the way. And then the stamp set that I'm using for this and the dies are Lily Pad Lake and Lakeside Framelits. So I'm going to take, this is our shimmer cardstock, and I like to use it all up. So a lot of times I end up with these because it's not the, I'm going to make a mess with that. Hopefully my cats don't decide to jump up on the table because that's just a hot mess waiting to happen. I like to use as much of like until this is gone because it's not our cheapest cardstock, but it's by far our most beautiful. So I'm going to stamp these. I've just mounted all three of them onto one block because it's the fastest way to stamp with the memento again. Stamp with once. And then I have another scrap piece over here that's more of a square piece. And I've got my words. Stamp them there. It says, be calm and leave it to God. And then this is the number one way that I use my pigment sprinkles. I've got another empty, make sure this one's clean, yeah. Another empty Wink of Stella. And then our shimmer paint. And this is the champagne. And you just give it a little shake and then take the lid off. And you're going to use the lid, what's in here, to be your little paint pot. And you have to remember what all these colors were again. It's easier when you're not on camera to remember what your colors are. So you just need a tiny, 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 tiny little bit of the shimmer. And then you pick that up. So this is green. I'm just going to color our lily pads in. And the fun thing is, as the pigment comes off of the brush, they're filled with like different strengths. Like as the powder comes out, all the little different powder pieces have different colors of the color that then make up the full strength color. So as you paint with them, you grab different little pieces of the powder and it changes color. So it's really pretty. And then when you're done, just kind of see where I squidged over here yesterday. Again, grab a teeny, teeny, tiny little bit because you don't want it to get messy. We're just going to see what these colors were. And that was blue, or Bermuda Bay. So let's do a little bit of blue. And our lily pad flowers. And I could paint forever, especially with this. It's really therapeutic to me. Just grab a little bit more. Then over here and do our sailboat. This card, when you're done, has a distinctive, kind of like 70s, 80s, I've been at the beach feel to it. Then when you want to switch colors, just get it all off your brush. In fact, sometimes I do a nice big piece of paper like this, and then later you can run pieces through it, and they're really pretty. You can get a tiny piece of this. I think this is where I put the purple. Normally, I would have cleaned this out and made it look all nice and pretty and known where my colors were. But because these are retiring and I don't know that I'll use them on camera again, it seemed like a waste to waste all of the sprinkles that were in here for one last time. And after I'm done, I will take pictures of this and get some close-ups of how pretty this looks. And I'll post the pictures over on our page so you can see it. Because then you'll kind of, I'll hold it up, but you can kind of see what I mean about all the, as you paint, the colors just kind of changing. Can you see that? Oh, Tanya's probably laughing because I don't know which direction to go when I do the camera. Here, get that off. Let's get a tiny bit of the pink. And let's do a pink boat. So I want one sail to be kind of the dark pink, and then I'll get rid of some of this, and then I'll finish up with a lighter one. And then I'm going to add a little bit of pink over here to our sun. I guess I got rid of too much of it. And we'll get some yellow. If I can remember which one the yellow, nope, that's green. The green and the yellow pigment sprinkles look just the same. So I don't remember where I sprinkled the yellow. I know I put more in here because I told you it looked like macaroni. Maybe this is it. Yep. So let's make our sun. And with the sun, I'm also just using a bunch of the shimmer paint because it's beautiful. It's so nice outside. My window's open. I don't know if you can hear the beautiful breeze. It makes it feel like you're kind of at the lake. So I'm going to get rid of that extra on here so one side of my sun looks a little bit darker. I guess I do want a little bit more green. Now I have to remember which one's the green. The one that I think is the yellow, which is this one. These are so much fun. And I have, we've had pigment sprinkles now for a year. They didn't last very long. But mine have been in this little container. And we use it at camp. And other people have used them. And so when they're not being used, as long as you have something like this, you can just leave them in that. So there we have our boats. But then for the bottom of the boat, I didn't really want those to be glittery. Because, you know, glitter has its place, but not on wood. I guess in Fairyland it could, but not for my boat. So I just took my blend, and I did want to remind you that single blends won't be available in the upcoming catalog. So if there's any single ones that you want, which bronze may be one, because bronze and ivory will be grouped together in the upcoming catalog, that you might want to get those now. They'll only come in the light and dark matches in the future. So this is just the bronze. I'm going to move this out of the way. And I'm really going to take this out of the way. So be right back. That's just with my computer and everything sitting on the table. And then we'll put these things through the different dies. So the die that I like the most for this is this piece here. I like the dies that are different, and this one's really different. I'm not going to get to my last card. So you're just going to get 3 anyways. Oops, I need the circle. I hadn't even really made it. I'll record it later and I'll put it on YouTube because it's all laying there and it's in my head. And in my head, it's really pretty. Not that I've made it, but. So with this one, you can see it has a straight line and then a wobbly line. So I'm going to put it right here in the middle. I'm going to start with the straight line down. And I'm going to go this way. This is why I took that water off the table. That way. And then this is a Sizzix die. It's not a Stampin' Up die. All of our dies are Stampin' Up now. They're so much better because you never have to do this with a Stampin' Up die. But if you get these before they're retired, you might have to do that. It's just easier to flip it upside down and make sure that they cut all the way. You can see it's got all these little, like little guitar strings or something that pop out. So we've got that one. Then you're going to pop this over here. And then this middle one, it doesn't matter. You just want to make sure the edges are lined up. The outside edges. Then run that through. And then we're going to do it upside down again. I haven't had to run dies upside down very often anymore because I haven't used very many old dies recently. Get rid of all those. But when you do that, then they come right out. So it's worth it to not sit here and have to pull them out. And then again with the top, make sure you have the straight edge back up at the top. We're going to do another one of these when the new catalog comes out, but it's going to be by invite only, and there'll be ways that you can get an invitation. So ask the demonstrator who invited you, which we don't know when it's going to be yet because we're not 100% sure when you'll have your new catalog. And you'll need your new catalog because you'll have a little party pack and everything to go with it. So if you want to come to that one, make sure that you let her know. Okay. Isn't that fun? Wrong way. I just love that. It gives the paper a really fun little texture too. So now we need these. Now I've got a mess and a half on the table. So here's the scrap piece that I've been using, just whittling it down. So let's tear these off. Let's do our boats first. So get our boats. And then at the same time, we'll get our saying. And I don't want the whole saying. I like to do this a lot with my sayings. So I'm going to just put it towards the edge like that. And one cut's fine with those because those just cut out. And the fun thing is it cuts your boats into 2 sections. And then we have our words. And then we'll go back up here and we'll get our lily pads and our sun. You like the hot mess I have on my table? The funny thing is I made this card last night to make sure I liked it. And I just cleaned up all those. Okay, now we just have to stick it together. So I'm going to do this one. If you watch my YouTube videos, you know there's nothing I like more than to change a background color of my card to see what they look like different. So my other one, which I will show you, I did on Bermuda Bay. This one I'm going to use, I think this is Razzleberry. No, it's not. What color is this, guys? Because I'm having a color brain freeze. So look, this is already lightened up. Look how much lighter this middle one's gotten. The rest of them are still a tad bit wet, but it's getting lighter. So you're going to take this, stick it in your card. And then take this piece here, and you're going to need our tiny dimensionals because you know our dimensionals come in 2 sizes. That's actually a piece of paper. Blackberry, thank you. Yeah, I knew it wasn't Clackberry. Okay, well, I know I have my tiny dimensionals somewhere. I have lots of dimensionals. Here we go. Here's some tiny ones. So you'll need our little tiny ones. And then they fit just perfect in these corners. My hands are a mess. Just as well, I don't have time to do my last card because it is white and my hands are no longer clean. So my white card would not be white. But I do have some cards to show you, and I will have time to do that. Our friend Susan doesn't like to take an hour. And then there's some of us who can easily fill an hour. Come on, pull off. The littler ones are hard to get off. So then you're just going to take this. Stick it this way because this one didn't tear off all the way. And just lay this right over the top. Grab my little pieces. They're super, super shiny. And again, I will take some. I'm glad it's sunny outside today because I'll be able to get some good pictures and I'll post them on for you. Can you see? It's really shimmery in that between the glimmer and the pigment sprinkle, it's really pretty underneath that. That's why you want it to be super dark because it lightens it up a little bit. So now we're going to take our pieces and start with our little water lilies and put them down here at the bottom. And then our little saying that I did like this, I'm going to take my scissors. Just cut it right there. You always want to start mounting your largest pieces first because you can always fit your smaller ones in. Stick that there. Stick a sun. Whoops. I didn't want it there, but almost landed there. There. Some boats. And then another boat. Look how pretty that is. Super shimmery. See what I mean? It has a little bit of the 80s let's go to the beach feel. And here it is mounted on the Bermuda Bay. So it's just a ton of fun to do this. And then we did do one similar when the set first came out. Whoops, upside down. It's going to take me a little bit. And this one used the crane out of the set. It was very similar. But this one, we did not use the pigment sprinkles because we didn't have pigment sprinkles at the time. And this one was done with ink refills. So, but I'll take some close-up pictures. I wish you could see just how super sparkly they are because they're so sparkly. But I know it doesn't get it in the camera. It's one of those ones where just being there is so much better than seeing it from far away. Okay. So I have one more thing to show you. The card that I have is not going to be, come on, there we go. Not gonna have time to do the last card, but one of the things that always goes, like every year, 99% of our paper goes. And this year, again, the Wade looking background, it is the die that is out of the Lakeside Framelit dies. And I just, where'd it go? It's this one. And I just did it 3 times. There's also in this stamp set, there is a similar stamp. So you can kind of mix and match. Like you could stamp that behind it and get it to match. There's a lot of fun things. I love the unusual dies. I'm always a sucker for if a die does something different. But this year, all of our designer series papers went. So if it's in the catalog now, it will not be in there next year because they're all changing, which is sad because we have some really good ones, but there's also some great ones coming. But the ones that are in there right now, some of them are super, super on sale. So take a look and check out the sale prices, especially if you are making them, like making cards right now for nursing homes or for hospital workers. Like if you're making cards in bulk right now, there's some great deals to be had. But I do have a class coming up that is for some of my customers, and we're just using designer series paper. So I wanted to show you just a few of those. This is the one Tanya just showed you, this paper. If you watched her the hour before, and if you have missed any of the segments, like you can go back. We're doing somebody's live on the hour, every hour from 1 till 8 today. And the videos will be up all week. So that is one with that paper. So these are all just done with paper and then very minimal stamping. So pretty much if you have a sentiment and maybe a punch or just some scissors, you could do these. This one, the next couple are done with no stamps at all. And everything, like this one also has the shimmer cut laser paper, which is retiring, but there's no stamping on that card at all. The wavy die set is called Lakeside Framelits. If you guys go to this page, like the party page for this particular card right here, is the one where I put everything that was retiring and I used it. And I did put, like, I took a picture from the Stampin' Up website of everything on this card. So everything, that's the only one I got to. I had grand intentions of doing them all, but this is the only one I got to. Because on this card, the stamp set, the dies, the glimmer paper, the pigment sprinkles, all leaving. So because they were all leaving, I wanted to make sure that I got them on there. So this one requires no stamping. So if you're new and you don't have a lot of stuff, just paper and shimmer and the laser cut shimmer paper. Again, this one, no stamping. This one is only papers, some window sheet, some glimmer paper, which is this is the glimmer paper I just used. See it back here? This one has minimal stamping, but the flowers on it were just cut out from paper. So paper behind, paper in front. All just paper, and then the only thing that's stamped is the words on the little cork pieces, and the cork pieces are leaving, and I love those. And then again, these are mostly paper, all paper doing the work. So lots and lots of paper on sale, lots of fun ways to use your paper. So there's my last one, and I gotta go. So I think Christy's next. I meant to look. No, it's not Christy. Is it Christy? Somebody tell me who's next. Is it Christy? It must be, because it's not. Susan's at 4. I think Christy's next. So I hope if you guys have any questions, let me know, and have a great rest of the day watching everybody else. I can't wait to see them. I am going to clean my office while I watch them. Bye.